Hola, ¿cómo están? Y bienvenidos a La Hora Galáctica, un podcast dedicado al 5 veces campeón Los Ángeles Galaxy, el más grande de esta liga y sin duda el más grande de esta ciudad, como lo demostramos este fin de semana. Y para empezar, le damos la bienvenida a Manny. Hola Manny, ¿cómo estás?
¿Cómo estamos? ¿Cómo estás? Feliz, aquí encantado que sacamos 3 puntos en casa y pues mirando para el otro partido.
Sí, muy contentos que se sacan 3 puntos muy importantes en lo que va de esta temporada. Y también le damos la bienvenida a Baltasar. Hey, Baltasar, ¿cómo estamos?
Bien, Kevin, contentos porque les callamos la boca a esos habladores por esa victoria que tuvimos el fin de semana.
Sí, muy contentos porque como lo venís diciendo que les ganamos. Y para mí lo más importante son los 3 puntos que agarramos, ¿verdad? Que son muy importantes. Ya vamos acumulando nueve puntos, son 3 victorias de los primeros 4 partidos y para mí eso es lo más importante. Y vamos a comenzar ahí. ¿Cómo fue que vivieron o cómo vivimos nosotros la fiesta del día sábado? Y comenzamos con Manny. Manny, ¿cómo fue tu experiencia de este partido que se jugó el día sábado donde el equipo de Galaxy vence a sus rivales de LAFC?
Mi experiencia fue muy bonita, como todos los sábados o todos los domingos que voy a la casa del Galaxy, mi casa. Mucho alegre que defendieron los colores, ah, y les enseñamos que todavía somos papá de ellos.
Sí, fue en el principio y será, ¿verdad? Y para ti, Patrosar, ¿cómo viviste el ambiente del día sábado?
Como dice Manny, lo bueno es que les demostramos que seguimos siendo su padre y así lo vamos a hacer en casa de nosotros, se respeta. Eso fue lo bueno, la experiencia, pues fíjate que la pasé muy bien, con amigos, ahí con la barra, alentando al equipo, pues fíjate que fue muy bonito.
Y no sé ustedes, ¿verdad? Pero yo en el momento que estaba en la sección, ¿verdad? Los tres estábamos en la sección 120 y se sentía un ambiente muy bonito. Pero no sé si es nomás estar allí en la sección, pero se ve que había más gente ya cuando lo veo, ¿verdad? Sí se ven los espacios, la parte del social distancing, pero estando en la sección se sentía el ambiente casi como normal en el aspecto del que estábamos cantando fuertes, estaban las banderas, la gente brincando, ¿verdad? Un poco de todo, ¿verdad, Manny?
Sí, mucha alegría, estuve en las gradas, ahí en el Big Block, ah, Bloque Victoria. Y como dices, no había mucha gente por la capacidad que tiene el estadio ahorita, que nomás pienso que son 8,000 que pueden ir al estadio. Pero se siente los 3,000 o 6,000 o 2,000 que estamos ahí en las gradas, que sí se siente, hacen sus voces sentir en el estadio, ponen la presión, alenta al equipo y se sintió bien bonito.
Sí, claro. Mi experiencia fue una experiencia muy bonita, como si fuera cualquier otro clásico, ¿verdad? Pero siempre volver al estadio es algo muy hermoso y lo vamos a volver a hacer esta semana. Pero para empezar, ya entremos a lo que fue el partido. Manny.
Yeah, Los Angelinos. Let's hit the stadium, welcome to the tailgate. La carne asada, las cervezas and them fine babes. Throw on a jersey and represent for LA. Let's keep it pushing through the 110 on the freeway. So bring the soccer ball, we getting at the soccer moms. Politic with OGs, waiting till the game is on. 121, sit behind the goalie bond. Sunday night soccer, call me when the game is on. Gotta put the flags up, Kobe with the mask up. Cosmo in the galaxy, we about to blast off. Oh yeah, it's about to be lit. In the sky with the fireworks to go with a chip. We about to micheladas, come and get me a sip. Gotta show us some love, come and chill for a bit. Seen a go for the fame, or a hat with a trick. So don't go for them blames, be a G with us quick. 9-6, remember we the veterans who tryna be the veteran and mastering the elements. Don't judge us by our melanin, the color of our city is what really makes us elegant. Kicking with them aliens. LA, y'all. Vamos al estadio, hoy vamos a pasarla bien. Con la camisa de Cienfuegos, got a rocket 10. I chill with all my friends, I'm getting high in the sky with them aliens. This is how I represent LA City native. Leva's gon' hate it, take another shot like the goalie's gon' save it. 5-time champions, we the ones that made it. Sipping on a cup, you know that we crave it. Oh yeah, it's about to be lit. Have you jumping out your seat when we score on them quick. Drink Modelos with Modelos, that's the finest of chicks. Looking fly in the stadium, the Galaxy kit. Now let's chant for the team, come and sing for a bit. Seen a goal from Leggett, or a bicycle kick. Gotta hold up a flag, blue and yellow it is. We just celebrate goals, keep it G for the kids. 9-6, remember we the veterans who always keep it relevant. Don't judge us by our melanin, the color of our city is what really makes us elegant. You know that I'm a gentleman, winning it with elegance. Why?
Whoa, what a great music video right there. And welcome to Community G, episode number 21. We have made it and we're happy to be here. Yes, we took a little break, 1 week break. We had some stuff going on, but other than that, hey Manny, what's up, man? How's it going?
Nothing much, man. Hey, happy 21. We're officially able to drink on Community.
Yep, absolutely. And welcome to all you Galaxy fans. Welcome to everybody except Alexi, Lalas, and Coco. Those two are not welcomed over here. But other than that, everybody else is welcomed with us, right?
Hell yeah, man. Fuck Coco. But the songs are cool, but fuck him.
You know what? That was a funny video. Something that really cracked me up. And let's start
Shout out
off
to my homie Moy. Yeah, I know who that fool is.
Yeah, shout out to Moy. I think that was funny. I think that's part of that El Tráfico history now. Something always happens with those fools. It's always something. Now this time it was Mark Anthony K, right? With those
Porque
makes.
son payasos, papa. Son fucking all this culture that they talk about and all that, and fucking nothing but clowns.
Yeah, it's always one thing or another. It's either the camel or it's someone flying or Mark Anthony K getting made or someone getting called Coco. So it's always something with these fools. So I think the joke just writes itself. But other than that, Manny, how you been, man? How it's been 2 weeks since we last talked. How you been doing?
I'm awesome, man. Obviously we had a busy week last week. Things are going back a little bit more to normal as weeks go by, so I'm happy about that. Happy to be at the stadium. Happy to meet fellow people that I met online. People that I've never met last season or even talked to. So I'm glad to see new faces. Get to put some faces on Twitter handles. So everything's great.
I think you're right. Putting faces to those Twitter handles. I think we've all met people that we've met either on Twitter or through Liga Galaxia or Liga G. And let's get started. Let's go ahead and bring our guests today. And they both do come from Liga G. And that is Albi, who I believe is making his third appearance, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have David. We are really happy to have both of you guys on with us. And let's start off with David, since this is your first time. How are you? How are you doing today?
I'm good, boys. Thank you for having me on. It's certainly a pleasure to be on with you fine gentlemen, and excited to take part in it. Let's fucking do this.
What about you, Albi? How are you doing?
Doing good, man. It's been some time since I've seen you guys. It's good to see that you guys are still doing this and still chugging along, and that David's able to join us this time. I think at this point, I should probably just be a co-host for this podcast, though. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I was gonna say, Albie, how many hats you have now? Since you keep coming back to the show, you keep adding something new to your resume in the Galaxy world.
for real, right?
That was up though. Hey, it keeps us busy. It keeps pushing us, and welcome to the never lasting of Galaxy universe that it never ends. You think you reached the pinnacle, and it just seems to be another mountain to climb after you pass that mountain, huh?
For real. I mean, the last time I came on, I don't know, we were probably right at the end of the league, or maybe that's right at the beginning of the league. And
Yeah, we were starting
right? It was right
the
before
last
the league
season. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, we're right at the beginning of the next season. This is the place to be, apparently.
Yes, it is. And you know what, David, I want to start off with you and asking you, how was it that you started following the Galaxy?
Oh, geez. I mean, I remember back in the like way back in the day because I'm originally from Orange County. I grew up in Sacramento. Going to those first couple of games when the Galaxy first started playing at then the Home Depot Center, because my dad would take me because Galaxy tickets back then were obviously a lot cheaper than going to like a Laker game or anything like that in the area. But I remember having Kobe Jones kit. I remember more specifically, I used to have this Kobe Jones dog tag that they used to sell at these games, and I had it, with me literally for the longest time, even throughout my teen years, and I had it somewhere, and I finally lost it. But always followed the team, always followed the real LA team, even when those Chivas fucks came in. But yeah, I kept on sticking with them, and through the glory years, and it's been running through my blood ever since I can remember. I remember one thing in particular was the 2014 MLS Cup final when we beat the Revolution in extra time. I remember I was at my dorm at Cal Poly, and after Robbie scored that extra time goal, I was screaming so loud I actually had the RA called on me to make sure everything was okay because I was making such a ruckus celebrating that goal. So I mean, it's a little bit tougher now, just considering I'm not in LA. Like I'm literally all the way up the state and supporting afar. But now that things are looking like they're starting to go back to normal, I'm definitely plan on making at least a trip down at some point this season so I can see all you guys come back to the Diggity and go watch a game. So I'm really excited and looking forward to that.
Hopefully, meet us up in San Jose. Shit, if everything goes well, we'll be up there pretty soon next month.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Al, we have a question, man. Your backgrounds, your hair, every time you come to the show, it's always something different. Obviously now you had when you were with the Piñas, you had the blue hair going on. Then you had the sponsors with GSPN. Now you have Lars incorporated in there. Is there something that we don't know about that you want to tell us about your whole background?
I mean, nothing new. I mean, now that I joined Barcelona for this season, I'm gonna be repping them. Shout out to the guys that are in the chat, Bob and Anthony. I see at least. But I'm taking a little step in a different direction this time with the Twitch and doing my own stuff as a brand. So that's why you see the new little L4G4 logo. And I mean, I always got to promote the GSP because it's a ton of fun actually putting the games together and everything for Liga G. I know Manny, you've hosted, and you too, David. I mean, sometimes it's a little nerve wracking when we're in the thing and I'm not actually like doing anything, right? But I honestly think it's probably the funnest things I do out of the whole Liga G thing outside of like playing. Making the content is probably rewarding when people see it and they like it and they give me a reaction and stuff. I think
How about
it's
when they
super
tell
fun.
you? How about when they tell you, "Hey, it's fucking lagging. This is buffering. Fix your shit."
Well, that's the other side of it, and it just pushes me to do stuff better. But
Hey,
I
I'm
figured
like,
out
hey,
a
fuckers, we're trying. You think we want to put this out there like that? We're trying.
yeah. What's really funny is the first time when everything was lagging, I was explaining to Kevin my problems earlier with like the computer and figuring out encoding and all that, but people really genuinely thought it was the Galaxy putting it out, so it just made the Galaxy look bad. It's like, damn, Galaxy didn't pay their internet. Like those comments, those cracked me up. But
So, like,
it
your
was a
net
learning
zero
experience.
internet, it's still buffering.
The McDonald's Wi-Fi.
Yeah. How about you, Decline? I see that you worked hard on your background. Is that something that you want to share with
Yes.
us about? That it looks very, I don't know, emo-ish,
Here, I'll get out of the way so
sad.
you can see it
Yeah.
fully. But it's everyone's least favorite Gilbert.
I don't know if
Obviously
that's
I've joined Rhino,
I don't know if that's a farmers
but
only profile picture.
this definitely gets everyone crawling into the DMs. That's the thing. But no, I mean, obviously I joined Rhino for this season, joining the defending champs. So, there's obviously a lot of shit that has been talked from the Rhino side, obviously with Gio and Gilbert and obviously Brunner and those guys. So we're definitely creating bulletin board material, not just Albie and me myself in that first podcast that we had, but that this league is just full of just creative banter that just goes back and forth and really gets people riled up. But in the end, we're all G's, so it's all love. But it's fun just getting like a little heated every now and then and taking this shit pretty seriously.
Yeah, it really is. And I just want to go back, Albie, and ask you something. How is it that you prepare for those GSPN podcasts? Like, do you have some type of checklist, or every other time that it's a new one, do you think, oh, I should do this different or add this? Or how's that process for you?
Yeah, I want to say that really the process started from doing the Twitch and presentations for the pineapples. Obviously, I started getting a workflow together, but introducing commentators to the whole GSPN thing took it up a whole different level and a whole another different problem solving level. And typically, I storyboard every sort of scene. I draw it out to sort of get an idea of how to put things together. And then, when I bring hosts on, I even have to let them know what they're going to be seeing versus what um, I'm going to be seeing. So, typically speaking, the hosts actually don't even see the GSPN broadcast. They're just watching the cameras, and they're watching the game obviously live. And really the workflow is like I'm getting better and better at it, producing better content, um, really trying to fine tune what I think works and what doesn't work. And in some cases, it's some stuff in the gameplay I'd like to introduce more live type of things in the L4 broadcast. Now I'm doing like goal graphics, I'm doing win graphics. I'd like to start doing that stuff for GSPN.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have like production in your regular life, in your regular, like, job? Is that something that you do normal, or is this something that you picked up through this pandemic? That
pretty much picked up through the pandemic. I mean, I didn't know OBS before Liga G started. So it was just deep diving into a ton of that stuff. I didn't know a bunch of stuff, but one thing I did know was how to Photoshop. I knew like workflows around Photoshop, around graphics and stuff. So I just sort of applied that knowledge to what I put together and just try to do the best that I can. And obviously, like, it worked because people like it. But I mean, I'd like to get more on a level where I could show stuff like live, or do stuff live that I see some people do. I've talked to several people about doing some things, and one person who I'm impressed with the way he does stuff in his live shows too is Josh, who's also been on GSPN. And I picked at him like a couple of questions about his workflow, because obviously he's been doing it for a long time too. And I also like YouTube research and stuff or whatever too. So, I mean, it's definitely a learning curve, but I think for the most part, I figured out a ton of stuff. But I think the next level of me getting GSPN to like real broadcast status is starting to do like a better way of the commentators being able to see and live interact, because I think that's probably what's holding us back the most.
Once we get a studio.
Yeah,
right. I do want to point out one thing too, and add on to that. When I had the privilege to do a GSPN podcast, and hopefully I'll be able to do more this coming season. I in a previous career I used to work for Fox Sports and Fox Soccer, and so I had a literally upfront view of how production works for a normal soccer broadcast. And when Albie sent me like the storyboard Excel sheet to prepare for the broadcast when I was doing my prep work for that game, I shit you not, it was pretty much on par with the kind of preparation that the pros do when I was at Fox Soccer. So I think I was gonna say, I see you doing
so you're David Lalas. That could be your GSPN name?
But that's hot takes. Fuck
David
no.
Twellman.
I'm not gonna talk. Yeah, fuck that. Maybe like that, but no. I think it's major credit to you, Albie, for literally like learning this on the fly and putting together like a product like that where I think people that I used to work with can probably learn a thing or two about the way that you prepare for the production side of broadcast. Because like I said, I've seen it. I've been a part of it. I know what that's like on, I guess, the quote unquote professional side of the way they used to do things back then. And
The Liga G
yes,
podcast. Um, how did that started? Well, obviously we kind of know how it started. I know right here with Community G, we held a little bit of the games, but it's a lot, to keep with stats. Is a lot to keep with scores, especially when you're playing and you're trying to keep everything up to date. um we try to cover both leagues, and any type of gaming that is going on in our community. How did that started? Uh, how is that going for you? And what is the hard work that goes behind it? Because a lot of people don't appreciate the hard work that people are putting behind these content, like for them to enjoy.
yeah, no, it's definitely a process. I'll kind of preface it with saying that I mainly have a previous background in podcasting. I used to do plenty of podcasts back in the day. I had, when I was in community college, like back in 2012, I had like a sports Sunday podcast I did with a classmate. When I was working in LA, working at Fox Sports, I used to have a podcast called Sock Talk, and so that was kind of my niche. And when Liga G kind of, I guess, exploded into the fucking gigantic, child it is now. I mean, from going from just playing clubs with some people, with some Galaxy friends, one night a week, to now having a fucking league with GSPN podcasts and shit like that. I wanted to help out just, in any way that I could, and the way that I knew how was the podcasting route. I mentioned to Albie towards the end of the season that, hey, like I wanted to help more on the media side of things, wherever that may be, whether or not that was, helping him broadcast, helping him produce, doing whatever. And then, I figured, okay, well, what's the league really missing that, we can kind of just be stupid and go crazy with it. And I was like, okay, a fucking podcast. So I brought the idea to him, and I'm like, Liga G, we have a media team. You're a part of that Discord, Manny. And it's more of like, we'll rotate guests, every week or so. We'll get new people, new faces, new voices on.
As a part of that, Discord, I bring nothing to that group. I just say, oh, that's tight, that's fire. I just give out some good emojis or some shit like that. I don't do nothing technical, just to let you guys know.
Well, eventually I'm going to pressure you to come on and eventually host one of these shows with me or Albie. But it kind of started that way. And I knew that I wanted to, just kind of get something rolling. It didn't have to be anything really formal. It could have just been like more banter, if not. But we started that, and we had that idea. The first episode that we started on Monday actually took a shit ton of troubleshooting, because I haven't podcasted in 4 or 5 years now. And so I had to basically reteach myself how to do it. And we start off trying to record over Skype. We troubleshooted that. It wasn't working. It's something with my GarageBand audio where it wasn't transitioning the audio file correctly. And then I actually read an article and found out that you can actually record calls and video calls on Discord. And so for any of the guys who are in the Discord, you saw our buddy Craig, coming and going to record that call. And so that's what we're kind of base things off for the future, is recording on Discord and using Craig as that tool where, you can record the conversation, and then immediately after we're done, it saves the link and we can download an audio file from that. But there is a lot of work that goes into it. I'm very
I was gonna say, if you have any questions for Discord, hit up Kevin. He runs our Outlaw Discord, and he's doing a great job. Him and Joseph. So big shout out to them. And we're finding out new stuff on Discord that I didn't even know about. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, that's something
Kevin's
just
good to go.
Yeah, like I said, that's just something I looked up on Google. It's like, hey, how do you record on Discord? Found the Craig bot. But like I said, I'm very prep oriented. So I spent like hours like going through like last season stats and saying like, okay, like, Galacticos, like either bringing back U-Man, either bringing back Scott, they added Pelts, whatnot. Who's their leading scorer that's coming back? Who's streaming for them? So I wanted to just make sure that I was prepped to the best of my abilities, because the biggest fear that I had when I first started podcasting and like putting myself out there when I was
say, based on your stats and your research, Kevin and I have some shit to say later on based on that. going.
What are you
keep
talking
going,
about? I put
keep
you
going.
guys second. I got you
No,
guys
no,
really
no.
high.
But
What
there's
the
some
fuck are you
stuff
talking
that you
about?
left the stats
I
out. Kevin,
didn't.
tell him, Kevin, tell him.
Like, go for it, buddy.
You finish it off. No, finish it off, and then we're gonna tell
Okay.
you what we feel like we.
Okay.
You put a target behind us. Plus, you insulted us at the same time. But go ahead, keep going.
Okay. Well, I'm sure a lot of other people that, especially Angelinos, were not too happy about the way that podcast ran out for them. But like I said before, like my biggest fear about getting into this podcasting realm when I was like 17, 18 years old, when I was in junior college, was failing and not being prepared. So like I over prepare to the point where like I need to make sure like I know exactly what I'm talking about. I have backups if I need to, venture off in a different realm. And, that ended up turning out to be a really good podcast. We spent, over an hour, previewing each team's, going through power rankings, answering Twitter questions. So, I mean, every episode isn't going to be as long as that one was because we're not previewing the entire season, every episode, but it'll be more of like a recap, some quick banner, depending on who's hosting that day. And whatnot like that. Like I said, it's not anything super formal. It's more of just like a fun kind of fucking like show that like Liga G has kind of blossomed into like now. Nothing too serious. We're all just G's having fun, shit talking, having good
You're an
banter.
original Cosmo player that started off with Scott. Did you ever think about the league ever starting to be like this to where you're at now? Starting to prep for hours, looking at power rankings, looking at people's stats.
Well, it's funny because I used to play. Yeah, no, it's crazy because I used to play clubs with Scott like FIFAs ago. That's how I knew Scott. And when he brought up this idea of like, hey, like I want to get some Galaxy fans and like we'll just play like 11s on pro clubs and like just go play seasons or whatever. I was like, yeah, why not? Sounds fun. And then more and more, like we got more people into it. We had that big game against the San Jose pro clubs team like way back in the day, remember that. And then it just blossomed. More people got into it. We had teams, and then we turned into a league. We got fucking GSPN broadcast. We have a fucking podcast. Like, there's no way I could have imagined it turning into the fucking gigantic thing it is now. But it's so cool at the same time because during the pandemic, we were all just like looking for just more G's content, soccer, whatever, because of that long layoff before the MLS's back tournament. And it just turned into this. And it's just, like I said, it just snowballed into what it is now. And it's just so cool to see all of us kind of come together for one, big cause. And like, in the friendships we make from it, like I now know you, I know the rest of these guys that I've met playing pro clubs too. And eventually when I come down for a game and we can have like a tailgate, it'll be so fucking cool to be wearing like my Cosmo jersey, whatever jersey I'm wearing from Liga G and be like, hey, like we all fucking played pro clubs together and now we're here in person and like we make friendships that way. So it's just mainly cool from that standpoint that we were able to make these friendships, make these connections, really gain these relationships in this G's community, community, so to speak. So that's I guess a long-winded answer to your question.
So Kevin, tell him about his power rankings and his defensive player of the years, how we felt disrespected.
You know what, man? The power rankings, I know it's number 2, but we all feel it put a target in our back. I feel everybody's trying to come after us, and that's just going to step up everybody's game. Because I know we used to do it as Galacticos, like, for example, when we played Cosmo, for example. I know they say we parked the bus, but we got to win, right? Because we kind of got up to those games. And now I feel that all these teams are going to try to get up and prove us wrong. But I mean, we do have a good team, though. I give it up to.
I was gonna say you guys got to be up to the challenge.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna do my research and make a calculated guess on where I think you guys might finish, you guys got to back me up and actually play good pro clubs.
That's true. But on your defensive player of the year, I was number 2 on the chart, and I didn't even get a mention.
I know.
That, I was like, well, I know we didn't make playoffs, and I told my team like, hey, it is what it is. It's playoffs. You know what I mean? You gotta show up. You gotta get to the finals. You gotta go to the dance. You just can't have a ticket. You gotta get to the dance.
I just want to say that
I'll let you go. Go for it. I've been talking a lot.
I just want to say that I hosted the podcast with you, and you didn't even put me in the playoffs.
No. See, so he is Lala's, right? He is Lala's, right?
To be fair, Angelinos took that pretty straight to the heart. So they're pretty pissed. And
they came at us,
said on the podcast,
and they came at us that game.
Yep.
Right? They beat us because they're
so
pretty
that's the thing.
pissed.
It'll motivate them to play better pro clubs, and if it does, then it's just a better product. There's no bad side to this. If people are offended that I put them pretty far down my power rankings, they're going to come out on fire. It's going to create for some great fucking pro clubs matches. It's going to get for some great content, great banter on Twitter. I just don't see how there's a negative to it. So, much like Alexi Lawless does in real life. It's all about the clicks, right?
It's all about the clicks. I'll say that. So your power rankings are not based on teams that are projected that you like, right? They're based on actually the game.
It is based on very, very detailed, prepared calculations that I see fit into the realm of pro clubs based on the other teams that are playing. I guess.
I don't give a fuck.
I wasn't.
I put you second, so you and Kevin should be thanking me, that in the end, it's going to make you guys play better because other teams are going to come after you because I put them so high in my power
but you know what? I think the people that get that, not negativity, but for example, the people that weren't there might take that more as like more fire, right? Because for example, Manny and I play on the Xbox League, and there's a team that also has a podcast, and they said some stuff about my team that I can't wait to play them again. I don't know if you heard that, Manny. You haven't heard of that?
I haven't heard.
All right. Well, I'll make sure to clip it and send it your way for motivation.
Yeah, send it my way so I can get that, and I can get up for that game too. Shit.
It was nothing big, but I'm gonna make it big because I'm gonna motivate myself. But you know what? I think that does make it fun. It does make it more competitive, and like you say, we should step up to prove you right? That you put us as number two.
Wrong.
Or wrong.
Yeah, and exactly. In Angelino's case, prove me wrong, or Balls of Peter, wherever I left, like that far down.
Talking about City Angelos, big shout out to Pupusero, Morales, Alex Garcia. I actually met him the last game. Pupusero already had met them a couple of times already. He's part of the Outlaws, so big shout out to him. And then I just met Alex Garcia this last game. And then I actually met Blue from Wanda Park. DJ Herbie Herb brought him out to meet me and stuff like that. So I met him this last game also.
This last game I tried to meet Andrew. And that didn't work out. He didn't recognize me, so I know he's in the chat. This is what I look like.
It's funny because you know how DJ Herbie Herb brought him, and he's like, "Hey, you know who this is?" I was like, "Nah, fool. Like, I don't know who the hell this is. This is Blue." Blue, like, yeah, from one part. Like, oh, okay. Like, hey, give me a Twitter handle because I don't know his face. And then after that, it's pretty cool that, like I said, I think we met a couple of people already, huh, Kevin?
Yeah, you met some Xbox people because they did the same thing to me. They called me like, "Hey, do you know who this is?" I was like, "No," and they're like, "Oh, it's Bo." I was like, "Oh, what's up, man?" Like we text, we talk, but I didn't know
we met
Bo.
Bo,
Noah, we met Noah
and Bun. We met Bo and Noah Thomas. Noah Thomas tickets were on the other side, and we kept them in V Block with us.
That's dope.
He went back to the section smelling like beer, allegedly. Flying beer.
Yeah, so like shit like that. It'll be cool where, obviously we had the news today that, that they're planning on having a full stadium for the games in June. So I'm hoping that will mean that eventually we can start tailgating, and then we can have like a game set on the calendar where I can drive down, come and like we can have like a Liga G tailgate. Everyone comes in, reps their jerseys, reps their teams. I finally get to hoist the fucking trophy for the first two, championships I've won. So, just have a good time, drink with the boys, meet some other fellow G's that like we only knew through, PlayStation.
Have they told you about the trophy? Big shout out to Moy that made it. Have you told you that trophy, how it looks?
Yeah, that thing's sick. I saw it. That thing is fucking sick, dude. It is legit. And that's the other thing too. It's like how crazy that this Pro Clubs League has started to the point where we have a trophy, we have medals, like we have, prizes that like that award winners have won, like coming from like legit companies, coming from The Godfather, shit like that. Like I would have never thought that this shit would have come to the point where it is now. It's fucking cool.
Here's the question for both of you guys. All three of us, because I know Kevin's answered, but he can answer it online too. How does your wife or your significant other think about playing this much pro club? Because look, I play Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. I'm here on Fridays, Saturdays, or depending what time the G's plays, I'm out there. But if it's not Xbox, it's PlayStation. If it's not PlayStation or Xbox, I'm podcasting. How does your significant other or your wives think about this time consuming that you're doing voluntarily doing it on your own? You're not getting paid to do this. So how do they think about that? You guys can go around.
Go for it, Abby. I'll let you go first.
She's in the room. I don't want to say.
Hey, that face he made, like, hey, we all know that face. Like, they're gonna get hit.
Well, I'll say that I'm very thankful for my wife. I love her very much. She's pregnant, so
Congratulations.
it's a lot.
Congrats.
Thank you. It's a lot more of like a she's more pissed at me for the little things now. But like I've kind of because I mean I'm a busy guy like you, Albie. You have a life, you have a job. I work. I'm going to school. I play semi-pro football. Like I do a lot of shit. So trying to find time to get on twice a week to play these Liga G games, or now Mondays to record and set up the podcast. It's all about time management and making sure that you're allotting the most to the misses. So I always got to put that one first.
Kevin, now that you're married?
You know what? It's been an adjustment because before it was different because I would be home and when I had to play or practice or whatever. Where now that has been one of the adjustments I have to do is find that balance where we still spend time. Like for example, Mondays. I already told him Mondays. That's the day that I don't mess with because I'm keeping that day for us to go out, catch something to eat or whatever, right? But I had already told them that I was not gonna play in Liga G. Remember, Manny, I ran it by you. I told Anthony, and I just couldn't do it. I'm
The
finding the way.
podcast brought you back. Huh?
Yeah. The podcast put a little chip on my shoulder, and I'm coming back. No, you know what? This is what I was thinking, and before the podcast, and I had this conversation with another player of our team that was like, you know what? We've been there when we've had, like, for example, on paper a good team, but we haven't been able to make the playoffs. And the season I quit, it's gonna be the season that I'm not gonna say we're gonna win the championship because I don't want to put that pressure, but that we might make the playoffs and have a better season. And I don't want to miss on that. I want to be there both on the good and the bad. But it is an adjustment. It is something different. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm still home. I'm pretty sure she prefers me playing a video game than being out doing something else.
And the good part about it
Loyalty.
is now, the good thing about it now is like when things are opening up and the league is barely starting, we're it usually runs for like 2 months and a half, something like about that. Uh, the next champion will be the first champion to pick up that trophy at the digs.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? All these other championships, obviously credit to them. It's been handed to the manager. It's been handed to, you know what I mean, for them to distribute everything. This championship will actually happen at the digs, the crossover between managers or a tailgate or whatever we decide as a league to do. That is actually is going to get picked up by a team, either whatever we give out for prizes. Because I'm working on that, but it'll be actually at the digs for the first time ever, and I think that is by far the biggest thing ever because you can actually pick it up
So that'd be
there.
really cool. See, Manny, what you really got to do is you got to pull those strings, and you have to have like the championship team honored at halftime of a game, where like they get to go on the field and like Michael Arajo gets to like congratulate the Liga G champions for winning the season, and we get to hoist the trophy, or whoever wins the championship gets to hoist the trophy on midfield.
I don't know, Doc. I don't know
They
because
throw the confetti.
I don't know because
Yeah,
you know what?
exactly.
You know what? This last season was pretty hard for the whole administration league. It was pretty hard. It was pretty tough. The
I know,
growth.
but we really appreciate the work that you guys have done.
so-
It's really, really cool what you guys have been able to do.
I've talked to Scott for a couple.
Shout out to Buki.
yeah, fucking just looking nice in there. I've talked to Scott about a couple of ideas that I ran by him, but I'm hoping that things to open up before I actually start looking out for rewards, because as things open up, it'll be easier for us to do more stuff rather than the pandemic and everything. We're able to highlight the sponsors. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
that's other than our Twitch, other than the commercials like Wanda Park does and stuff like that. But another thing is, maybe we could do some banners for them, whatever the case may be. So I am working on that to be able to do physical in-person stuff so we get to meet each other more.
Sure.
Yeah, I think.
If you guys had any ideas, what do you guys think we should do? Other than the tailgate.
That's a tough question, man.
Yeah, that's
I
tough.
mean,
I mean,
like,
my biggest thing was just the tailgates to just get everyone together, like meet different people who like we didn't know. Like it's one thing for you guys to meet like a random on the park player or meet like Alex or whatever in the stands. But if we have like literally like dozens and dozens and dozens of Liga G players who like we can all just like hang out, drink with, get fucking blacked out with, that would be cool. That's just what I want, just because I'm more of like the social side of that. But
The good part about it is that, like, um, our both of our leagues have a lot of representations of all supporter groups. So that's awesome. You have Bob, that's a great dude. You have Rudy, that's an awesome dude too. Also, uh, so it'll be easier for us to try to navigate something within ourselves to help each other out. So that would be
sure.
in the works. And I don't know. Should we? We'll give you guys. We'll give the podcast. Once we get the awards, we'll give the podcast to give out the breaking news so they get clickbaits right there.
yeah, I
Yes,
also want
sir.
to announce. I also want to announce the GSPN dates that I have in mind already. We got some pretty fire games. GSPN is really really hard to do during the midweek, only because of the nature of like work and getting everybody. Um, and then also since I play, it sucks to like miss my games for GSPN, so I always want to like schedule it outside of that. And if I
Right, because
get
they
like
have you
callers,
because they have you in playoffs, right? So you can't miss that because they have you in playoffs.
yeah. Right. So like the other thing is that like, the depending on the people who are commenting, I mean, out of most of the commentators, the only people who I'd really, really, really like to get on and who have agreed to it before, but life happens was the guys from the Riot Squad cast. I'd love to get Zero and Ed the Zombie right
Is that why you
on
joined
for a
Lars
call.
to try
No,
to
no, no.
persuade them?
But it's definitely a plus. Um, I, I want to say that I'd love to get them on. I don't know how they're gonna call the game, to be honest. I think it's gonna be some sort of crazy mess, but I think it'd be a lot of fun.
You know what?
It would be
I,
very entertaining.
it's gonna be very entertaining because Zero's gonna give you a bunch of stats on that one player. He is the number 3, number 9 of Barcelona. He has. I mean, tight. He gives some stats like that.
He's tied
Yeah.
for like 15th most all time in Barcelona appearances or some shit like that.
And then
That'd be
they'll go
pretty
off
cool.
about wrestling.
Yeah. That's Ed right there. Hey, I don't know where they comes in from Ben. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be really cool to get a third person involved, like Ben or whoever. For the regular ones, it'd probably be myself or something, because I'm always just sort of in the background. I'd like to sort of get more involved in the broadcasts, like performance side, but it is a lot to handle. And shout out to all the guys who have hosted me, who have given me their share screen, who have helped me put that together. I am so lucky that those people haven't dropped out
Well,
out
now
of a
you
match
know.
mid
Well, now
game.
you have La Hora Galáctica that's waiting to
Knock
go
on wood.
for another Spanish one. Now you have
Yep.
Kevin and Baltasar to do another Spanish one. So you have another SAP channel right there.
Another
Yeah,
SAP,
there we
yeah.
GSPN
go.
and SAP. There you
I
go.
think
You
I
have
think
another.
that would be
Just
fun.
in Fortes.
That would be fun. And Albie, I have a question for you. Have you had the pleasure of playing one of these? I'm not sure. Probably not,
No.
right? Because you do the whole production side.
Yeah, and I mean, that's like the other side. Like I'm gonna have to figure that one out, because I mean, even when I'm playing and I'm streaming, it can be kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Making sure I get the cues. We score a goal, I'm like, oh shit, where's that button? Or whatever, right? So to add on like a whole level of like, I got commentators that keep on going and stuff and trying to communicate to them. The one side that I'll say that it'll probably be a little bit easier would be the timing of things, because I'm involved live in the game. It's not so much telling the teams like, hey, start right now. That way I got like it's about 45 seconds to 50 seconds from when you send the invitation to when you go into the arena to when you go and start playing the game. Like that stuff might be a little bit easier, but it really depends. Sometimes you send the invitation, they don't accept, or sometimes you get the weird jersey glitch or something. So it's never easy either. But I mean that's just FIFA for you. It's live. It's tough, but I think that's what the beauty of it. I know a lot of people say like, why don't you pre-record this and then put it up later? And I think that would take the whole thing away from it.
Yeah.
Obviously, David, you know, like live broadcasting, that's where you get the emotion. If you would know the match beforehand or something, and I would just shoot you a recording, getting that on the same time or something like that, it would be kind of a mess, and maybe it'd be able to work, but I think it would feel really fake to myself even.
Yeah, I
But
mean, you want to react with it as it happens. That's kind of like the pure beauty of sports in general, isn't it? When something like when the Galaxy score a goal, the build up and the reaction, and it's kind of like an orgasmic kind of explosion. It's like, oh, like go G's or some shit like that. It's that's why like I think it's so weird how people can record sporting events on like their TV and like go back and watch it later. I think that's fucking insane.
I'd rather just see
fuck.
the
Hey,
score.
hey. I record the game and I come back and watch it because I'm in the stands putting work. So then I miss
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of the stuff.
I mean,
that's
that's
different, but
that's
you're like
one
watching
thing.
the game as it happens,
Yeah.
like, and then you go back and review it later. But like, like I said, it's the beauty of sport where something big happens, we all react as a whole, and it just makes it that much more better.
Yep, because then you actually hear it in the chat, you hear it within the groups. You hear on one side you hear the excitement, and on the other side you hear all the fucks. You know what I mean? Like, God damn it! You know what I mean? I've been on both. I've been on both sides. I've been on both sides. I've given out some moaning because when we score, and then I've given out some, man, we fucking suck.
Well, I mean, like take for example last season's final. When Bubble scored that equalizer to send the game to extra time. Could you imagine hearing about that like hours later and be like, oh, like apparently Bubble scored an extra time or Bubble scored to equalize, and then watching it versus like seeing the chat exploding, Josh and Hammer, losing their shit at the same time.
Hey, Josh was sweating, huh? Josh was into it. He was sweating.
It was intense. It's awesome. They take that shit really seriously, and it's awesome to see. But like, you can't replicate that in any other format other than it being live. And that's where I agree with you, Albie.
Imagine if Joe Totino want to get that.
Yeah, I swear, I wish. I really want to. But the next thing I want to sort of incorporate into GSP, which is going to be extremely difficult to figure out the ins and outs. And Kevin, I know you know this, but getting the live game chats from both teams to be live when they score, so you could hear that celebration just the same. That would be really cool.
I think that was an invite to Kevin to the media team.
Yeah, and I was actually, you know what's funny? As this conversation's been going, I've been like, you know what? I do need to message Albie and be like, hey, I could help you out. Like, I might know something. We might both know something where the other one doesn't, or could help each other out. But then I'm like, do I really want to get something else on my plate? But I am itching to kind of be
I know exactly how you feel, man.
Yeah, and you know what? This happens all the time. But you know what? Definitely, I think that's something we could both probably link up and figure out how we could get both. Because I think that would be awesome, especially like when someone scores, just go ahead and basically pipe in that chat. I think that would be something that would be really, really cool. And kind of give other people, because I remember during the week I was seeing that someone was kind of asking like, are people like, is there a chat? Like, how do people communicate? And I think that's interesting. Like when I talk to people I play in this, I always make it like better than what it really is. I say, oh, I play in this very competitive league, which it is, right? But I kind of make it, because let me tell you guys a quick story. I left for dinner once to go play an Xbox game. And everyone's like, you're going to play a video game? So I had to make it seem like very legit. Like, oh no, like it's very competitive. And they asked, they're like, oh, how does it work? And I told them,
I'm a pro FIFA player, buddy. Yeah. I got some shit to do.
Yeah, so I was telling them like we're communicating like real life. Like we're like, oh, left, watch out with your left, watch with you get me, the communications there like real life.
You know what? By you saying that, like, yeah, at the end of the day, we do compete against each other. But I want to put it out there that, like, we are a Galaxy community first.
Definitely, yeah.
You know what I mean? Think about that first. You know what I mean? I know my nephew runs the Galacticos, but one thing I told him, like, hey, they have to be Galaxy fans, and it has to be people that we want to get to meet one day. Mm-hmm. It can't be, oh, you're just here because you're good. I want to be able to, like, hey, I want to be able to meet you. I want to be able to one day travel, and then like if you're from another state, from somewhere else, if I go to an away game, I want to meet you there. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like I want to be able to become friends. I just don't want to have you for a season just to win something. And I think that's the ultimate goal for our league. You know
And
what I
I,
mean?
I, I
Yes, we
think,
want to
Oh,
compete.
for
Yes, we
sure.
want to
Damn
win.
yeah,
straight.
I,
But I think at the end of the day, our goal is to become more united than anything.
I think that this league has done a good job in that sense. Even for example, maybe there's a Galaxy fan, but they're a casual Galaxy fan that maybe through this league they became more of a hardcore fan, or maybe they joined a supporter group now. Or for example, I know in our team we have Carlos, right? That yeah, our playmaker that wasn't in our game, right? He told me shout him out. He's out on vacation, so enjoy your trip. But like him, he's out in the stands with us now, right, Manny? In 120, putting in work. And I'm not gonna say that this league that we're gonna take the credit as the team, but I think as the league should take the credit of bringing this community together. And maybe someone that was just a casual fan, maybe now they're a supporter, or they feel a little more closer to the club now.
Yeah, because even Scott hit me up like, hey, when he saw the picture of us, he like never did I think that a guy that I was playing pro clubs with that went to games here and there now is actually totally involved with you guys. Meaning like he's out here playing soccer in Long Beach and he's from the 818. Like
No, I
he's
think he
driving to
lives
come play
out by
soccer with
like
us.
Ventura, somewhere out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he comes play soccer with us. He comes to games. Hey, how can I help you guys? He's more involved. I'm like, and I met him through this league, and
Yeah,
I'm like, this is what it's all about. Like, you know what I mean? How can we help each other out for the long run?
Yeah,
definitely.
there's
Absolutely.
also that whole like that whole introduction, and as admins we talk about, ways that we want to bring new people in, and you know this, Manny, trying to get like the neutrals, right? The neutrals as a rule, the neutrals, and you being in the league long enough, you earning a G card, you now qualifying, sort of like not taking up that international slot anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, to me, there's a lot of guys, especially knowing that like on the pineapples, there was a lot of guys that sort of were borderline Galaxy fans or something that are now paying attention to the team more, that are now more involved, that now ask questions and stuff, that know the players by names and know the lineups and stuff, that they wouldn't have done that otherwise. Getting that connection. I mean, obviously in Barcelona, I'm in with a bunch of guys. I think there's a couple of neutrals, but I'm in with a bunch of guys who are like part of the supporter groups, like you guys in Galacticos. And I know some of the teams might not be on that level necessarily, but it just goes to show you that like you start talking about it, or you have like a forum to start talking about the G's as as a team or as a place or something. Now all of a sudden people feel involved, they can feel attached, and you can bring that community, and that's how you do it organically. It's not something that's forced. You do it with us. We're in no way associated with the LA Galaxy except for them giving us a Twitch password.
Hey, that's a lot
Hey,
because you know what I mean.
That is on.
Not once that I think that they were gonna be down for it at the first, but I think with the broadcast that you've done and the commentators, been great. That they're all in. Like you know what I mean. Who knows next year where we're gonna be at? You know, what if we're at the digs playing our final there?
yeah,
Everybody.
that would be
Ooh.
awesome. In that case, I'd need a
That'd be sweet.
camera crew, and we'd need like Joe Tatino and Kobe Jones on the call, or Christian Miles. I mean, honestly, some of the games that they were putting up for the preseason and stuff, and I say this with the most respect for the guys at the Galaxy, but I felt like I better than them.
Yeah, but that's you know what I mean. Can you blame Tucson's internet? That was almost like the Curacao internet right there, right?
Yeah, that was bad
Yeah.
quality right there. And you know what, guys? I know we've kept you guys longer, and if you guys are okay with it, we'll keep you on just a little bit longer. I just want to get the do the raffle. I know we have some people tuning in, so let's go ahead and get this raffle going. First off, big shout out to Anthony Jovel for reaching out to us and Winner Circle and teaming up with us. providing these 2 tickets that we are raffling. So big shout out to them. Go make sure you check out their stuff. They have some pretty cool shirts. I know they have some Laker stuff. They have some Galaxy stuff. So big shout outs to them.
Yeah, yeah. I actually have some stickers on them on my laptop, stuff like that. So if you're like a Laker fan, Dodger fan, anybody that has rings here in LA, they'll have something for you.
All
Yes, sir.
right. So let's go ahead and get this raffle going. Let's see who wins these 2 tickets to go support on the
Chapin, if you're
for the
watching
team.
the thing, you cannot win. I'll default you.
Hey, you know
No,
what? Big shout out to Chapin. He wasn't able to be with us today. I know G-Man was asking for him, but he'll be back hopefully next week.
I'm sorry to think that Chapin is G-Man.
For real. All right, let's see who's that winner. So that's gonna be Jan Michaels. That's from Instagram. So we'll make sure to reach out to you, so you could go ahead and get these 2 tickets
Congratulations,
for
Jan
tomorrow.
Michaels.
Congrats, Jan Michaels. Congrats, and again, big thank you to Anthony and Winner Circle for teaming up with us and getting this going. We really appreciate it. But let's go ahead and continue this conversation for a few more minutes, and then like that we'll start wrapping it up. Go ahead, Manny.
So going back to your podcast, what are the goals for the podcast? You want to recap a little bit of the first games, maybe what team proved you right and what team proved you wrong, and who surprised you, who didn't? Maybe you guys want to recap on that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's really a goal that I had in making the pod. I think it was just, my just general idea was obviously to have like a season preview for the first episode. I figure that every episode after that would just be recapping results, mid-season transfers that some have already happened, beer belly boys. But recapping the transfers, recapping drama, recapping, shit like that, and previewing. I feel like that's just going to be maybe the basis of at least the shows maybe that I host. I know I won't be able to host the show this next Monday, so I know Albie and a special guest might be hosting that one. So there really isn't a goal, and that's kind of like what I answered beforehand, where let's just fuck around with this. Let's just see what comes about. It doesn't have to be anything formal. It doesn't have to be anything super organized, at least, from the grand scheme of things. Let's just have fun with it, see where it goes. Maybe ruffle some feathers with some teams like we already have, and just have fun
For
with
real.
it,
I'll just start off by saying that I'm not gonna prep as much as David has for the show, and hopefully I don't go astray for too long, and I'll bring it back to the Liga G or whatnot. But I mean, when David brought the idea to me, I was just like, all right, sure. Like it's like sort of like you were saying, Kevin, like, as soon as you say okay, then all of a sudden, oh fuck, like here's another thing I gotta be on top of, or another thing that I gotta do, and I'm like, I don't know, but I'm like, you know what, sure. That I was like, David, like if you want to run it or you want to do it or something, let's do it. Like I don't want to put another thing on my plate, not necessarily, but obviously now we have a media team channel that Scott thought was a good idea to set up for us, and I think it really is, but he wants to get me some support in doing a lot of the things. But I think what took a lot away in terms of things that I got to do on a weekly basis or on a nightly basis for Liga G is actually that website. Yeah, I know Scott has to say that it probably doesn't look as nice and polished as I would do it if we would put it up. But in all honesty, it's like less work for him, less work for me. And at the end of the day, like it keeps track of stuff for you. You can't ask for anything better than that. So with that said, now I get to focus more on like more media type of things like GSPN or the Liga G podcast, which is to me is actually really cool because I can do stuff that I like versus feeling like I'm just churning out like charts with Scott or something like that. So it's really cool.
Yeah, stop managing us, Scott. Just say that. Stop managing us. Stop telling us what to do. But hey, Keepers mandatory season 5.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I don't got to worry about that on Barcelona MVP.
you don't. But you know what?
Everybody's gonna go after Endless Savage.
I was gonna say everyone's starting to throw their hat in the ring for Savage.
If you guys need a keeper, go after Buki. Except Galacticos don't go after Buki.
Nah, that fool's like a 5-foot keeper, man. Leave that fool. That fool's a Sunday league keeper.
No, I'm still a little hurt about when he played keeper on decision day. That's why every chance I get, I bring it up to him. But I want to ask you guys, how was the reception from the first episode? Because I know from the outside looking in, I say it's a positive reception. I thought you guys did a great job. But from you guys on your point of view, how was the reception?
Well, it was good for some people, and then for some people who weren't very happy with where they placed in the power rankings, they weren't too happy. But overall, we had a lot of support from it. We had a lot of shout outs from the Riot Squadcast, from Liga G, the account there, other independent Galaxy content, sharing our stuff, which is really cool. So overall, it's gotten a very, very positive result. A lot more interaction on the social media side than I was expecting, especially when I asked for like some Twitter questions for the end of the first pod. I was not expecting like 25 questions. Some of them were like, just shooting the shit, but like that much interaction on social media I was not expecting. But I would say overall it's been very positive.
For me, like I'm typically a quiet guy that plays pretty neutral for the most part, and I kind of stepped out of that just a little bit, like just the tiniest little bit, and oh my god, my mentions just blew up. And for anybody that follows me on Twitter, especially Gio, I mean, it's all love. I mean, like,
Hey,
this is a ton of fun.
We should do a bet. Like, if you know how he says he's the best pro club players, right? I mean, by far, he's won. So his teams have won. So all credit to him and his squad. If he loses season 4, he should have to cut that curly hair. It's either him or the table. I'll take the table. I think I'll take 10 of us. We haven't knocked him down yet, but I'll say maybe season 4 it is. But he should put his curly hair on the line in case he can't deliver this season. Declan, you're on that team, so you have to have his back.
I was gonna say
I'll hop in that PlayStation chat in a little bit and relay that message.
Just on him, because he's proclaimed the best pro club player there is. So, like I said, he's won all seasons. He's proven everything right. But season 4, he's putting the target in the back of his on his back. Everybody's going after Rhino now. Pretty much, there's a team to beat. They're the defending champs. They're looking good. But like I said, if he loses, he should probably cut that hair at the tailgate once we give up the trophy. if he has to give up the trophy, he has to cut his hair. That'll be fun to watch.
I mean,
I don't know if we'll be down for that, but we'll push it.
I just think it's a little funny how it turned into this whole thing, and now you even have Gilbert on your background.
You should use the one with him in his pants, the one that is right next to his stuff.
Yeah. That was a last second decision to even post that up. I was at work. I was like, oh, that'd be funny as fuck when I put that up.
And then I just want to transition a little bit, Manny, for the Liga Galaxia and the Xbox League. But before we get there, I want to ask you guys: have you guys thought about maybe? Because I know a lot of us have transitioned over and are playing on both leagues. Has it crossed your mind, or do you know that you just don't want more on your plate, or how has that been for you, David?
I would like to keep my place in my marriage. I think is the best way to put it. I think adding another gaming system and another day or two of my week would not make my wife very happy. So I'm gonna just say that.
And then Albie?
Yeah, same. Honestly, same. I mean, I'm not one of the. I like sort of piling on the whole Liga Galaxia. It isn't as good as Liga G, and it's only because I'm gonna keep on pushing Liga G. But honestly, they're probably similar in quality, the players and everything too, right?
You'd be surprised. There's some.
Why does no one play defense in that league though? That's what I don't understand.
It's changed. I think it's changed. I think Liga
Star
G
Lords isn't
Flash
winning.
Trent scoring 50 goals.
But you know what? Also,
not on
Yeah,
us.
that's
Not on
oh,
us.
he didn't
Not on
score on
us.
us, right? He didn't score on us.
I just
Not on us.
He
Not
I
on
didn't.
just
us.
say
He didn't score on
our
us.
Golden Boot winner
But you
our
know,
Golden Boot winner for Liga G, Big Willy Nilly and BBB had what 18, 19 goals, and this dude
yeah.
scoring
But you
50
know what?
in the Xbox League.
I,
That
Oh,
just
but you know what? They actually upgraded their squad and made themselves better. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I think we've
Still, though, I
gotten.
mean, David does have a point in terms of that. Like, I mean, like
Hey,
50 goals is
Scott
a
went over there
lot.
to
But
Xbox League,
Manny,
and it's not the same.
Manny, I have a
It's totally
question
different.
I have a question for you. I don't know if you're on the same boat as me, but I think that they have so many goals also because it is 3 game series compared to a 1 game series. So I don't know if that makes a difference. I think it does because at the end of the day, you're playing 3 games. It's not best out of 3. You're playing 3 games no matter what. So I think that adds on to the games and those goals and pile onto those goals as well. I'm not sure how you
Yeah,
feel about that.
We on our first season for Liga G though, we had the same similar
Yeah.
format. I mean, let's be honest, Liga Galaxia literally just copied the format. But I think our golden boot for the first season was around 30 goals.
and it was Bookie,
yeah, was it Buki who scored? Yes, Buki scored those 30
Bookie
goals.
and
I think.
Gilbert that have not repeated to be Golden Boot winners.
A 20 goal difference, 20 goals.
Yeah, but see, but the
Yeah.
thing is, but the like I said, from the upgrades from season 1 to season 2, and the moves that people do to
Hmm.
better themselves, also helps out because they have not had the same success as they did before, right? The only one that's pretty much been sustainable that's actually been there is big Willy Nilly from Beer Bellies for 2 seasons in a row,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? That's probably the only player that has sustained it 2 seasons in a row that has been Golden Boot winner.
Yeah.
Other than that, it hasn't been nobody else.
Yeah. Because even with
Right.
us,
Well, I mean, I
Still a
think
30 goal
because
difference though.
yeah, and you look at the transition. I mean, this beautiful gentleman behind me transitioned to center defensive mid, playing for Rhino. So if he was playing up top with Tristan, he might be up in that Golden Boot, standings a little bit more. So it's just a matter of
No,
perspective.
but
at
like I
that
said,
point.
but I accept to say, like people upgrading, people changing positions to better their squad to give
yeah.
themselves a better chance to win on games, right? And and I think that's what's happening right now with the Xbox League. Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like say we played three game series, and you know what teams have what it takes to win games. You know what I mean? Like you said, Class Trends right now he's racking up goals, but when he played against us, he didn't do that that much. I think we
Eh,
went to 2 overtime games and won in PK.
yeah.
And we lost 1-0 each game.
And do you guys think it's fair to compare? For example, there's 2 Xbox players, and both of them have been Golden Boot winners. Now they're in Liga G. Is it fair to kind of use that as comparison and be like, okay, if in Liga Galaxia they only score Y amount of goals, but in Liga G they're scoring X. You get me? For example, Class Trends and both they're both playing on both leagues. Like yesterday we played Class Trends, and I don't think he scored on us. Yeah, we ended up losing, but also in the Xbox League, but
Other than the PK, yeah.
yeah,
the
but do
PK.
you guys feel that?
I'll have the same argument as I did for Gio being the best player in the league. It really has a lot to do with the surrounding players around you.
Definitely,
You
yeah,
could be the best players. You could be the best player in the league, quote unquote, right? When you got an all-star squad backing you up. In all honesty, Class Trends, he might have that versus for lack of better words, inferior teams. He might have that all-star squad in Liga Galaxia in comparison, right? And it's the same thing in Liga G. David, you are part of the most stacked squad in the league. And if you guys don't win, I'm sorry, but that's your fault, right?
No, and I understand that. I mean, that's the pressure that comes along with it. I mean, Gio knows that he has to back up the shit he's talking.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's used to it. He knows the consequences of what could potentially happen if the team doesn't live up to what they're expected to be. But I will say that transition from Liga Galaxia to Liga G, I think just the quality, specifically on defense, is better in our league in Liga G than it is in the Xbox League because no player in a similar amount of games that they're playing overall should be scoring that many goals.
Yeah.
All the credits to Clash Trends, but him playing, especially now over here, there's a learning curve. There's a bit of a
Yeah.
difference. The
Yeah.
the players that play in Liga G, are especially in defense, those high end players like Manny Brun, Kelv, I'm trying to think, Albie, for example, it's oh yeah, look at that. But I think there's more to be said about the quality from the PlayStation side versus Xbox. Just think about this too. In Xbox or in PlayStation, you have like real professional leagues like VPG, like the VFL, the VFLA, all these big time leagues that are way more competitive and way more intense than what Liga G is. We have guys in our league that play in the VPG and the VFL who are quality players and can withstand that kind of competition. And when they bring that expertise and that experience to Liga G, they're way more prepared for playing. I wouldn't like Albie said, it's not inferior competition, but they just know the ins and the
Yeah.
outs more versus I think what the Xbox players are more accustomed to.
And that's what I think that Xbox is coming to, because one thing that you could talk to anybody that plays crossplay. Obviously that plays Xbox and plays PlayStation season with us. The Liga G side teams, they're more unpredictable, meaning that they're more organized, meaning like you don't know who's gonna show up to play, and they're always pretty much full to play against each other. You hardly play a team that's playing with 7 players. That's very rare that happens in Liga G. In Xbox, I think that happens a little bit more, even from last season. Obviously, people don't like to lose, or they get busy. Shit happens. You know what I mean? Uh, but now I think the top 6 teams are, when they play against each other in Xbox, so far has been very competitive. Star Lords is not even number 1 no more, and they're
Right.
back-to-back champions. Because and they've gotten great players. They have great players in their squad. You know what I mean? You have Cosmos out there sweeping people. You have Effort that just beat them. We've gave them a run for their money. We gave Cosmo a run for their money.
Give them their first loss.
We gave them their first loss. I don't know if we beat Effort in the series win. But I think that top 6 bunches are getting that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we need to be able to win series together. If something's not working, we need to adjust personnel, make our subs in, and change our formations.
Yeah, and something I know you were touching.
And I think that's what helps us.
Yeah, you were touching on defense, right? And I think it's getting better in the sense of, and of course, a player having 50 plus goals doesn't prove that, right? But it is getting better. I know in our team, for example, Manny, you probably remember the first few times we played defensively is way different than the way we play defensive now. And maybe that's the mentality of Liga G, or the way that we do play in Galacticos as well, where we've been able to kind of influence that a little bit in our team. But even in other teams, I've seen, like, there was one team when we played them the first time, one of their center backs was basically playing everywhere. Now, the second time that we played them, I saw him stay more at that position. So I think little by little it's getting better. And I think it will take time, or maybe it won't reach Liga G level, but that those players that are going... But those players are going. I think it helps. And you've told him, Manny.
I think there's going to be like a bigger, like a high end and a low end. Like there's going to be a bigger drastic. But I think like at the high end, those teams can probably compete with Liga G teams, right?
I think it is, because the competitiveness of you're not winning to bring in better players.
Yeah.
And that's what Liga G is doing. You didn't win, you go get better players. You turn over the roster. Hey, you let go of people, you go get better players, because you want to beat the next player, the next team. And if that team that's on top of you doesn't get better, and the bottom team gets better or gets better players, they're gonna knock you down.
Yeah.
I'll say this to any free agent who's in the chat, who's watching or who's listening: you're more valuable than any attacking player, because 9 out of 10 people who come in as free agents want to play in the attack, and you got the odds against you. learn your craft. I knew I wasn't going to be the best player in the league, quote unquote, right? So when I used to play, like physically, like in real life, I used to play center back or I used to play wide out. So I figured, like, you know what, that's something I know in real life. I'm going to apply that same
Yeah.
methodology to playing in pro clubs. And to me, I mean, like, I'm pretty happy with it. It makes me feel like shit. Like, it, if I was as buff and tall, I'd like to play like this, right? But but you know, it gives you a certain satisfaction, at least to me, because I played defense in real life
I,
on how to play.
I will hope that EA one day gives it crossplay and actually
Oh,
just have
yeah,
Yeah,
one
buddy.
fuck.
straight league and there be a top 8 go into playoffs. You know what I mean? And because that would respectfully put everybody in their natural team, meaning whether you're a Xbox loyalty to your team and you're just playing PS4, or you're a PS4 loyalty and you're just playing Xbox on the side. You know what I mean? And that would really put us into one galactic league by itself. That'd be badass.
Yep.
I think it's a little wishful thinking, thinking that EA is going to give the FIFA community what it wants. It never really has before, but obviously
Right.
people have been clamoring for crossplay and cross gen for years and years and years. So obviously that'd be the coolest thing, because then we can finally put this debate to rest on which team is going to be superior if we all combine and form just one league. So
I'd be glad to see that and actually, pay GSPN's plus.
And I want to bring up a question that Anthony had on the chat. He said that after game day 1, do your power rankings still stand, or are there any changes?
Are you guys gonna say that to the podcast?
You can save it. I think that's a good question.
well, I'm not gonna. I'll be can save it because he's gonna be recording on Monday. I won't be a part of the next podcast because I have shit to do. But no, I'm not gonna change it because 2 games doesn't mean shit. You got to keep it up over the entire length of the season. So no, I'm not changing my power rankings.
Uh,
I'm saving it. I'm saving it for
Okay.
the pod.
Awesome,
Right.
awesome. But so for you, David, we're happy to be number 2. We're gonna make you proud. Well, we're gonna try to make you proud.
Fuck, we just want to make playoffs. Fuck being number 2. We just want to make playoffs.
Well, for
After
now,
that,
I think
Hey,
we just want to get in
my
and make some
expectations
noise.
are high. Manny and Kevin, you guys are under a lot of pressure to make me look smart. So help a brother out.
pressure's never a thing for me. I thrive under pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
But it doesn't help if your players are out there taking vacations like Geos and shit. Fucking out there partying, motherfuckers. Get your ass back to work. We need you on the field.
Yeah, Yank.
All right, guys.
We all have those players, right? We all have those party animals, all those Geos in each team.
I know we've been going at it. I know I told you guys for 30 minutes. I really appreciate that you guys stuck around. I just didn't want to cut the conversation because it was so good. I just didn't want to be like, all right, guys, thank you for being here. But we are going to start wrapping it up. And before we do, I just want to go over some stuff going on the community. As we know, the G's play tomorrow, but there's more to that as well. I know ACB and AFJA, they have some stuff going on. They're collecting size 4 and size 5 soccer balls, and that's going to be donated to the Beach Convention Center and Pomona Fairflex. But you could donate those in lot 13 tomorrow by the fire station. So it's going to be there. I know they're also collecting books and letters. So those letters are for the children that are being I have the information right here. So they want letters in 8.5 times 11 inches in size, one-sided only. They could be in Spanish and English. And then get those as well. I believe that's going to be in lot 13 as well. And if you guys do have any questions, go to the Angel City Brigade, to their Instagram and their Twitter. And I know they have all the information there.
Yeah, big shout out to also to Neo's mom. We had her
Sarah.
here,
Yeah.
Sarah. We had her here
Yeah, that
few
was
weeks
really
ago.
cool. You guys were able to do that.
She's the one that got
That's
the ball
awesome.
rolling on this. We're also doing, if you're able to paint a butterfly. We're holding those off before the game and our stands and V block, you know, to show some support to them. Obviously, you don't want children going through some trauma stuff. You know what I mean? Children are precious no matter where they come from. Um, to me, or obviously to me, that I think they're precious no matter what.
Yeah, so for everybody that could support, go ahead and do so. We all as a community will appreciate that. And then other than that, David, where could they catch you on your personal social media, and also where's give us the social for the podcast.
Yes, sir. You guys can find me literally at everywhere: Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, PlayStation, at Decline44, DKLINE44. And then you can follow the pod on Twitter at Liga G Pod.
Awesome. And Albie, where could they find you on social media?
You can find me at L4G4L4XY, not only on Twitter, but on Twitch. I'm really excited for this season's GSPN series as well. Make sure that you take a follow to the Twitch account for that, which is, I think it's at Liga G _96 or at Liga G96 _ something. I don't know. Look for them on Twitter, follow the Twitch account. I think there's going to be some really good matchups. I'm hoping to get all the teams on board. I still have to reach out for that sort of stuff, but we'll get there when we get there.
Rumor has it they're going to be a GSPN 30, so we'll find out who's the first feature.
Awesome.
Hey, I'll blow this shit up.
Hey,
Hey,
thank you boys for having us.
that's what I do, baby. I just blow shit up. Fuck it.
And Manny, go ahead and give us your socials.
You can find me at Manny2_G. You can find me in VBlock 120. You can help me. You can find me tomorrow supporting the AFTRA stuff with ACB. Shit. If you say what's up, bring me a beer. Fuck it.
And for those that don't know, or you do, we do have another podcast in Spanish called La Hora Galáctica, where we talk about the team in Spanish. So it's different than this. We actually go in and talk about the team, and that's why we don't really talk so much about the team now, because we want you guys to go check that out and share it to your family that speaks Spanish. But other than and that, you could actually find it on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, and you could visit.
Okay, you find yours, Decline. I know you didn't put the.
Yeah, no, I forgot to mention. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts. Sorry for those Spotify people. Just have to switch over and buy an Apple phone.
Apple. iPhone.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I used to have an
2021.
Android.
Buy fucking iPhone.
I used to have an Android phone, so I could confirm you could get the Apple Podcast app on your Android phone. So there's no excuse to not listen to the podcast and go tune in and hear about Galacticos being number 2 on the power ranking. But other than that, guys, we're really happy to have you guys. Thank you so much, and hope to have you guys down in the future again. And then Albie, whenever you do need some help, let me know. I'll be willing to help you out. But other than that, guys, before we do go,
See you guys tomorrow, baby.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. I just want to give one last shout out to Arquitecto Verbal. I'm gonna play his music video one more time. But other than that, remember, G's up.
G's up, baby. Let's go.
All right, we're off the screen, and our mics are muted.
Let's hit the stadium, welcome to the tailgate. La carne asada, las cervezas and the fine bakes. Throw on a jersey and represent for LA. Let's keep it pushing through the 110 on the freeway. So bring the soccer ball, we getting at the soccer moms. Politic with OGs, waiting till the game is on. 121, sit behind the goalie bond. Sunday night soccer, call me when the game is on. Gotta put the flags up, Kobe with the mask up. Cosmo in the galaxy, we about to blast off. Oh yeah, it's about to be lit. In the sky with the fireworks to go with a chip. We about to micheladas, come and get me a sip. Gotta show us some love, come and chill for a bit. Seen her go for the fame, over hat with a trick. So don't go for them blames, be a G with us quick. 9-6, remember we the veterans who trying to be the veteran and mastering the elements. Don't judge us by our melanin, the color of our city is what really makes us elegant. Kicking with them aliens. Vamos al estadio, hoy vamos a pasarla bien. Con la camisa de Cienfuegos, got a rocket 10. I chill with all my friends, I'm getting high in the sky with them aliens. This is how I represent LA City native. Levas gon' hate it, take another shot like the goalie's gon' save it. 5-time champions, we the ones that made it. Sipping on a cup, you know that we crave it. Oh yeah, it's about to be lit. Have you jumping out your seat when we score on them quick. Drink Modelos with Modelos, that's the finest of chicks. Looking fly in the stadium, the Galaxy kit. Now let's chant for the team, come and sing for a bit. Seen a goal from the jet, or a bicycle kick. Gotta hold up a flag, blue and yellow it is. We just celebrate goals, keep it G for the kids. 9-6, remember we the veterans who always keep it relevant. Don't judge us by our melanin, the color of our city is what really makes us elegant. You know that I'm a gentleman, winning it with elegance. Why?